Hey there, this is part 2 talking about our epic garden fail year as preppers. It's been challenging, and how we're just continuing on prepping anyhow. You just got to keep going, doing the best you can, right? Excuse me, I have a little itch. I think it's a flying cat hair. Okay, so we had this really rugged year. Where we just had so much rain. We've had deer eating up our garden, and groundhogs eating up our garden. We had late frost. We've not had any sun, and so it's just been rugged. And plus, heirloom seeds are a little bit more finicky than other seeds, and so you have to baby them just a little bit more. I'm not opposed to hybrid seeds. Actually, I might try to do more hybrid seeds next year. I just will not do those satanic GMO Monsanto seeds. Blah, no way, no way. But the naturally farmer hybridized seeds, I might work with those more because they are a little more hardy, but they are natural. They're not some freak of nature, which the Monsanto Satan seeds are. So, strong opinions. What prepper does not have a strong opinion? We're all about opinion, right? Hang on one sec. That's delicious. So, it's been a rugged year, and yet we continue on prepping. And on top of that, at the homestead back in western North Carolina, I had a brown recluse spider bite. That's a mess. That'll make you sick. Got well from that. Had to move and everything. And then down here this year, I got Lyme's disease. Are these bugs trying to kill me? So Lyme's disease, I'm a natural healer or a holistic health practitioner, but man, I got so sick with that Lyme's disease. I found out about it probably after I'd been tick bit about 3 weeks. I broke out in like this rash all over me. I was sleeping like 14, 15 hours a day. Just so sick. Fever. All that. But so I was on strong medication for 3 weeks, a real strong antibiotic that you're not allowed to get out into the sun, because I did one time for just a minute or two, and I got fried on my forehead, so I had to stay out of the sun. So that was another part of the garden. It's what I've got is weedy, and then after you've had Lyme's disease and you've gone through the antibiotics, I'm still so tired all the time. It's just like the idea of going outside and working in the garden it feels like more than I can muster up. Right now I need to harvest a lot of my herbs. I've got oregano and sage and chives and mint and all kinds of herbs I need to gather and dry. But man, the idea of going up there, clipping them, taking them upstairs to dry, I just get these waves of fatigue, and that is a pain. I got to get over that. Now it's getting better. It's finally starting to get better with taking some kind of herbal supplements and all, but I need more rest than I have ever needed, and I'm just not back to normal. My calendula out there, is direly in need of being harvested. Chamomile needs to be harvested. All these things need to be harvested and dried so I can have, do my healing teas and things. And then, of course, my husband likes the oregano on his pasta sauce. Man, he has to have a sprinkle of our own oregano dried on his pasta. He just loves it. But man, the fatigue. So that's been a challenge too this year. But I got to overcome it. I got to just muster it up, or else I'm just going to beg him, please go out there with some scissors and just cut those for me, and I'll dry them, because I do not want to let this harvest pass by. So getting out of just kind of like that woe is me moment, I don't like to stay in that kind of energy. If I stayed with that, like how really rugged, this has been a rugged year. If I stay in that too long, I'll be like, I could dig myself a hole and just stay in it, No, I don't want to do that. We got to move forward. So how are we continuing on with prepping? Well, Really blessed to live not far from a really great produce stand that has mostly Amish produce. I would say that most of it is not necessarily organic, but if you have Amish produced or produce, it's good and healthy, and it's heirloom seed, and it's not really sprayed with those kind of toxic chemicals. At least I hope not. Their belief is the way you treat the earth is the way you'll be rewarded in heaven. So I can imagine they're not going to be spraying toxic things on their foods. So a lot of the produce over there is Amish grown, not all, but a lot. And so we're really blessed to have that nearby us, and the prices are not bad. They don't, what's cool, I don't know if I should say it this way, they don't take food stamps over there. You have to pay by cash. And it's in a really nice neighborhood of town. So what happens is I'm able to go over there every few days, and I go to the discounted foods, and I know the manager guy there, and I'm like, how much for everything? If there's a good chunk of stuff. And he'll say to me, he'll put a price on it. He knows me, of course, after doing this for a number of years. And he gives me a good price on it. And then I take it home, and I'm able to, get that dehydrator cranking up, or to freeze things, or to freeze things in order to maybe later on can them once my energy level's back up again. So I'm filling up the freezer with things that I do have the intention of making, maybe soup. I've got some corn from last year. I think I'm going to do that up in, with some tomatoes that I got and other things, and can up some veggie soup. And so, but once my energy level's a little bit better. But we're continuing on with keeping that dehydrator running, and I seem to muster the energy for it, I chopped up and froze a bunch of green onions. Those work well in cooking, but I've been using those. They're awesome. And I took the little bulb base. I think I told you about that in another video, but the bulb base, I'm getting ready to plant a whole big long, one of those great big long planters, and put it out on a little balcony we have that's like 10 feet up in the air, and that way I can keep critters out of it, and it's easy access for my kitchen garden. So we're getting ready to plant a little fall garden out there. I figure if you do intensive gardening, what's it called, square foot gardening, it's a 9 foot by 9 foot area with 1 foot, 9 1 foot little sections, is enough food to feed one person if you keep it planted and work it intensively. So I figure if I get 18 decent sized pots out there, that should grow a good amount of food for my husband and I. And so I'm going to be planting greens and lettuces and onions and just some things. And also I believe I'm going to get just go to Walmart and for about $15 get a grow light, so that I can continue on even in the winter having some things growing in our we got a little sunny area over here. And then you have a little balcony, a little sliding glass door and a balcony. So I'm going to use that as a sort of kind of a greenhouse, but I'm going to add some light to it with a little bit of a inexpensive grow light. So we can continue having some fresh things. Also getting more into sprouting. Yeah, I got a lot of lentils. You just buy those at Walmart, bags of lentils. They sprout really great. We also got some organic alfalfa sprouts, and because sprouting is going to be a wonderful thing for SHTF to keep some fresh foods in you. You don't want just all your dehydrated foods and things like that reconstituted. You want some good fresh foods full of vitamins. So we'll be doing, we have all those things to do that, but I want to start it now more than I have, just for our own, to be really good at it, as well as it's just chock full of vitamins. It's so good for you. Yeah, and it only needs, sprouts only need to be put out in the sun for about an hour or two, and that's when they get green. But you can sprout them in the dark. Well, you actually do sprout them in the dark, and they just need an hour or two of sun, and you can even eat them even if they don't have the sun with the chlorophyll. But I think the green is prettier as well. It has the chlorophyll in it. but you can still eat them, and that could still provide nutrition even if you're in a dark place, you know. So we will do more of that. And once a month I go into the DC area with my work. We're about 4 hours from there in Pittsburgh. My son lives in the DC area, but I have a really big client base there as a healer. And so I go into DC once a month, and I work 4 or 5 days really hard and intensively. Well, Saturdays, I think it's from 10 to 2, the LDS Cannery is off exit 11 off 495 on the 495 Beltway. It's in Maryland. Well, they're open from 10 to 2, and they're, you know, you don't have to be Latter-day Saint to go there. It's part of their ministry, and they're really lovely to work with. So I plan to go in once a month now that my husband's working and my work is doing really well. And so I plan to go into the LDS Cannery monthly. Every time I go into DC, I plan to go into the LDS Cannery. And what our goal is, their cases are 6 of the number 10, like gallon-sized cans. They're really inexpensive. So, like a case is like 25 bucks. Or sometimes maybe it's $25 to $30 for a case. Boy, that's really cheap for things that are canned for 30 years. Long-term food storage? Are you kidding me? So what our plan is to get is 3 cases. That would be 18 cans. And each one has like 5 pounds in each one. So 3 cases of pinto beans, 2 cases of the rice, a case of sugar, a case of oatmeal, a case of red wheat, a case of white wheat, and then they also have dry powdered milk, a case of powdered milk, and then also they have other bags that are only bagged up for 5 years. They have baking mix, and they have these really good potato buds, I guess. The little potato, you rehydrate it with just water. It's already got butter and everything in it. So we're going to, so I'll get probably each time 5 of those, you know, per month. 5 boxes of the baking mix, 5 containers of the potatoes, and those are good for 6 or 8 years. So we're going to do that and to intensify our prep. So I haven't done the math on that, but I'm thinking it might be around $300 a month to do that. And so we're just going to suck it up and do that all the time that he's working, all the time that I'm going to DC, and I do very well when I go to DC, but we're going to amp up those preps. And so we do have a lot of dehydrated, you know, like peppers and eggplant and different kinds of fruit, all kinds of wonderful, and squash, you know, a lot of zucchini squash and yellow squash, all kinds of wonderful multicolored peppers are done up, things like that. So all those things would add to the flavor of our preps, you know, should SHTF. We're also going to be working on getting more water. Yeah, more of a water storage system. Let's see, as well as I like to go to, I know there's a lot of people are scared of Chinese foods or whatnot, but I like going to the Chinese grocery store and buying their big bags of roasted minced garlic, and also their fried onions, the big containers of fried onions, and this dehydrated pork that they have. You just put a little bit in, you know, a dish, and it rehydrates. It's really yummy, and so we're going to get some of that. I can get that when I'm in DC at an international market that I just love there, as well as a variety of different kind of dried beans and spices and that sort of thing. So that's how we're going to be intensifying with our preps this year, because I really think, you know, while we can, we need to do it. And it's really important to generate as much income as you can right now, so you can prep to the very best of your ability. I'm gonna do one more video talking about some of the cheap ways, prepping on the cheap, things that we do day to day in order to be able to do our preps and be able to function and flow. All right, have a great day.